Boom, we're back with another episode with Sage Ramble TV episode 12. And we got another guest this week, Josh Pineda. I don't know you that well. I know you met Chance, over months and even coached him at one point. But yeah, share with me, your background, maybe it's a little bit about you, what you're up to now. And let's just start there.
Yeah, dude, it's fun, man. Well, first of all, I was glad to be on here with you guys. This is an awesome podcast you got going on. So glad to be a part of it. Yeah, I've known Chance for, man, when did we meet, bro? Was it a year ago? It might have been just about a year.
It was like almost literally a year ago. Yeah.
Dude, that's insane, man. So like background, I mean, David, I can't believe I haven't told you this story yet. So I've been in high ticket sales about 5 years, but like really for 3. Okay, like seriously for 3. And in the first 2 years, I was trying to launch my own high ticket product and all that kind of stuff. And I'll tell my story a little bit about that later. Tried like just about every course and business model out there. And then I got into sales because I figured that was the thing I was best at. And I wanted to just scale that quickly. And then that's how I met Chance. Was I did really well at this offer and started to build it from, like, we built that thing from scratch. Like I was one of the first sales reps ever at this offer. We built it to just about 300, 400K a month. And then we're looking to hire some like A players. And that's how I met Chance, actually, about a year ago. And I was like looking to hire him. And I brought him on to meet. Like, I think from that first interview, I was like, all right, let's bring this guy on. And that's how we met. That's how we're here now. Now we're all building our own offers because we realized that, maybe we could do things a little bit better. But that's the story in a nutshell. That's kind of why I'm here.
Nice. That's very similar to how I got into sales, right? I mean, like trying to start our own things, and then the fan went out the window, and you kind of like see that, all right, sales is something I want to learn, and then you dive straight into it. But when you got into sales initially, did you have any plans into, I guess, like being a sales manager? Because I know you've kind of like dipped your feet into that.
Yeah, dude, when I first started, honestly, I was like, I just want the fastest and simplest way to get to 10 and then 20,000 a month. And that was it. So I was like, look, if I'm just gonna be a setter, I'll be a setter. I had no plans to be a sales manager. I was just thinking, man, I just want some money here to actually fund my music career. So I was an artist for a while, and I was like, I need money coming in. I want to pay for this lifestyle I have, and I don't want to keep working a job. And these businesses are costing me more than I'm making. And I thought sales is probably the fastest way. Remote high ticket sales is the fastest way to get to like at least 10 to 15K a month, right? And so I had no plans to, and then I just kept moving up and up because I went from a setter to a closer, and I realized I could change the way this closing team's doing things. So I became a closer manager. Then I realized I could change the way this whole business is operating. So I became kind of a partner in the business. And I just kept moving up until I realized I want to do my own thing. Like now I know how to do this. So that I had no plans on being a sales manager, but that's how I ended up being one.
Yeah. Man, that's interesting. I didn't know you were an artist.
Yeah, I still do it, but it's just my passion. Yeah. So
if I were to take a guess, you don't look like someone who plays the guitar. You don't look like someone who plays the piano. So I'm guessing like a singer or a rapper. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Like
so I actually do
something
play
without an instrument.
I do play guitar and piano, but I'm a singer and a rapper. I do both. I do a bit of both. More R&B. That's my thing. Drums is actually my first instrument. But I got into sales to pay for all that stuff, man.
Oh, shit.
Like, I wasn't trying to be this big entrepreneur. Like, I always wanted to be one, but I was like, I wanted to fund my music career. And then I was like, nah, music career is going to fund my business. So, yeah.
So that shifted. So you being a singer and doing the R&B stuff is still happening alongside with what you're doing now in business?
Oh, yeah, because there's no pressure now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to like make it big to pay the bills, because sales is like you can make like a year's worth of income that I was doing with music and sales in 1 month. Like if you make 30K in 1 month, like that's what I was making a year doing music. So I'm like, okay, I don't have to do this anymore, like for money. So yeah, still doing it, but it's fun. So I'm trying to get more people into this, man.
Nice. And man, Chance, do you have anything? You just got a bunch of questions.
Not really, man. I mean,
I just got a bunch of questions.
I don't have much, man. We're just,
because you already know him. You already know.
What was the thing that got you guys to say, of all the things we could try, let's do sales? Like, of all the things we could, like, you two are pretty smart, right? You guys were all entrepreneurs here, so it's like we could have done anything, and we chose sales. Like, what got you guys into it? Was it pretty similar?
So for me, man, I was already in sales, I guess. So I guess I've told my story. On here, so I'll make it quick here for people that have seen past episodes. I went to college, got a 4-year degree in business administration with a minor in digital marketing. I bounced around a couple of like manufacturing jobs when we were in the pandemic because nobody was hiring a college kid with no experience. And the only experience I had was professional tutoring. And then I got a sales job at Verizon, right? That I took as my position was eliminated at a manufacturing job. So then I took this job as kind of like a temporary job. And then ended up being one of the highest grossing stores in the state of Indiana. So I was making like $7,000 a month selling phones at Verizon. And I was like, whoa, this is cool, man. Like, hang on a second. And then I hit a cap really quick because, of course, people that sell phones aren't going to have uncapped commissions, right? They got to do a little bit. So I was hitting all my bonuses and I think my best month was like 8K, which is really good money. But Josh, we're similar, dude. We've got, winning mindsets. You hit a certain peak and it's like, okay, I want to do more. So what got me into the online sales world is I just looked at what was next in terms of my realm of sales. And I came across the coined term high ticket sales, right? From there, I saw Dan Locke, I saw all these gurus. And then one thing led to another. I ended up bumping into JD's free group. And then I got him. I was a setter. And then I met you, man. And
and then here we are now, building our own stuff. Love the journey, you guys.
Yeah. And like I said before as well, I mean, for me, it's very similar to you, like trying to build my own thing. Because I started off after, right after high school, I kind of like started my own business because I contacted my friends, contacted my closest people, and they were all miserable. People in the military were miserable. People studying university were miserable. People getting a job right after high school was miserable. I was like, I don't want to be like that. Let's just start something. So I started a business and I was doing sales before I even realized it was sales. And that's kind of how I got into it because I got in trouble with bookkeeping, finance. It was the first time I ever heard about planning my money. I was like, it was the first time I was like, and lost, awkward, confused 19-year-old starting a business, right?
It's
and
tough, man. There's a lot to deal with. Yeah, there's a lot of growth.
I shut it all down. I was like, I like sales.
Yes. You're running a business, but it's really easy. It's just you. So
yeah, exactly. So another question that popped into my mind, I guess like in your experiences being a because I love this topic, in your experiences being a sales manager, like leading a team in sales, like what's that like one thing that like usually holds closers and setters back from like their next like breaking point?
You know what I'm gonna say? You know what I'm gonna say? You saw it.
You guys know each other too well.
Oh man, it's never comes down to skill set, right? It never really comes down to skill set because that's something you can make up. It always comes down to like you're how much of a high performer actually are you, right? Because we gotta understand, like in sales, we do have it kind of handed to us. We don't have to deal with the marketing or the product or the fulfillment or the copywriting or even anything at all except just being with that person in that moment and actually performing high enough to lead somebody, right? So usually what I see that holds people back is like lack of leadership and like lack of the right abilities to overcome our own limiting beliefs so we can help other people overcome their own limiting beliefs. Right? Yeah, I can't tell you how many people are in an opportunity where they could make $30,000 a month, right? But what's holding them back is they're actually afraid to sell. Like they're afraid to lead someone past fear because they think, it's bad. And I actually don't have conviction in what I'm selling. And I actually don't know. I feel like I'm the bad guy in the situation. And in reality, like you're hurting that person if you're not actually like leading them, right? If you're not actually clear enough to say, hey, let's lead you to the right decision. I'm not going to make you do anything. I'm also not going to, like just be afraid of giving you an opportunity. So that's what I've seen, man. And every single offer, like I'm managing like 12 teams now, right? As part of my B2B offer. And same applies to every single sales rep and every single company, no matter what the offer is. They're like overcoming their own limiting beliefs. And that's the main thing.
Yeah. Chance, did you get that also before you even said all those things?
Oh yeah, I knew exactly what you were going to say. And I had this conversation multiple times.
Like a million times. Every day that offer.
We saw people come and go on our offer like crazy, bro. And some of it was the offer, not going to name drop where we were because I don't want to cease and desist or anything crazy like that. Or defamation case, right? But we saw closers come and go, and it was because of mindset, right? They would have the skill set, and there were some people who Josh and I were like, this guy could be better than me. Like
Yeah.
he could be better than us, but he doesn't have the mindset. And
Yep.
skills are teachable. Skills are something you can grasp. It's
Mhm.
which is what we're doing as well, David. We're focusing the front of what we're building on mindset first, because that's
Yep.
something that you have to be a high achiever.
Right.
You have to have it. If you can have all the skills in the world, but if you don't have the correct mindset, I mean,
Right. Right, man. And once those bad months hit, like every closer, no matter like every good basketball player has a bad game, right? If you
yes,
don't have the ability to focus on leading indicators and you're so stuck on the lagging indicators, most people don't even know what that is. Then you're gonna get stressed out, and then you're gonna spiral, and you're gonna leave the offer because it was bad, they weren't treating you right, or whatever it is that you're saying it is. When you could have been, man, one adjustment and 2 weeks of pushing through, and you're back to 10, 20, 30K a month. So that's
difference
the main thing we
between-
focus on.
I'm happy you brought that up. So the difference between the right mindset and the wrong mindset is a bad week and a rut,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
We saw, well, Josh, you and I had bad weeks. Like, I'm not going to say left and right because it wasn't that often, but like you'd have a bad
Mhm.
week and I'd have a bad week and then we would bounce back. We saw people, and I've seen people, a bad week turns into a rut, which is a month, 6 weeks, right? Of just
Right,
consistent poor performance because they let one bad week go to their head. They
It
start
doesn't have
limiting
to.
set in. They question if they're able to do it. Prospects
Right,
confused.
right. Strength of identity too. Like, man, you're here in a great opportunity. One bad week's one bad week. If you believe you're a good shooter, you're gonna keep shooting. You know, so you're helping people and focusing on helping the client versus now focusing, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to adjust versus just help the person? So
And money. So it's
crazy.
just, the topic's great, man. I can keep going. It's something that I talk about a
Could do
lot.
this all
And
day.
I said it on multiple of these episodes, or I've said it on several episodes. However the hell you say it. So said it on several of our episodes.
Mhm.
People enter the industry thinking of the wrong thing. It's great to
Yeah.
make money. Don't get me wrong. But if
Mhm.
the only reason that you want to sell is to make $10,000 a month, you're probably not going to
Mhm.
make it.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to
Right.
cut it.
Actually, you won't if you hyper focus on it. Right. Every closer we saw when we were managing, how many people wrote 10K a month on their board, and that's what was stopping them from hitting it. Versus writing, let me get really, really good at understanding people, and those people would hit it. Isn't that crazy? Like,
Or
put that
helping
in your
this
goal, you
amount
miss
of
it.
people,
Yeah.
right? Instead of making it about money, I want to help 20 people, right? Which is
Yes.
selling 20 units, right?
Yep. Yep. It's crazy,
Little
man.
things like that, man.
Yeah.
I know it might sound silly, but Josh and I have seen it, man. Like it makes a
Every
difference. Just
time, man.
putting it in your, I mean, crap in, crap out, right?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
my dad's told me that as a kid. Crap in, crap out. If you're
Mhm.
filling your brain with all these toxic, you know, I'm not a closer if I'm not making 10K a month.
Oh man, that's so negative, man. You're just gonna shoot yourself in the foot every day. I mean, how many people put their New Year's resolution this year is, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds? And I'm like, that's the worst New Year's resolution you could ever come up with. And they're like, what? Like, well, why isn't it become the healthiest version of yourself? Or go to the gym at this time, at this day, every single day, eat this exact meal every single night for dinner. Like, you do that, it's gonna happen. It's crazy, man. Like, it's just crazy. Like, leaving the 9 to 5 does take work. Like, whoever is selling that this is easy is, I mean, it's easier than other businesses, but it still takes, you still gotta be 1% of a person, like the top 1% of yourself. It's like being able to become that is probably the most important skill people learn, but well, that's why they need people like us to train them and help them get there.
Something you told me, Josh, and it reigns so true. In this world, getting from one to, I think Dave Davidson actually said it, and then you echoed it back to me. Getting from 1 to 5 is easy. Getting from
Yeah.
5 to 6 is the leap. And then 6
Yep.
to 7 and 7 to 8. Those are like progressively bigger and
Yep.
bigger milestones. And sometimes people never get to 8. They never get to 9,
Mhm.
right? Because that 1 to 5 is so easy.
Man. Yeah.
To kind of phrase this respectfully here, people let off the gas. They stop sharpening the sword. They stop sharpening the mind, right?
Right.
And
Right.
it goes into this coast mode, and then they never get to 6 or they never get to 7, right?
Man,
Because
that's
like you said,
crazy, man. Yeah.
I'm circling
It's
it back
tough
to
to
what
see,
you
though.
said, bro. Their biggest goal was 10K a month. So they hit the apex of the mountain, and then they're just sitting up there. They're looking,
Yeah.
because their goal wasn't become the best version of myself. It was make 10K a month.
Yep. That's it, man. That's it. Like, oh my gosh, I don't think in the last 2 years I've actually kept track. Like, I obviously look at what I'm making per month, right? But I stopped keeping track the minute my bills are taken care of, which is usually in the first like 5 days of the month. Because I'm like, all right, cool. I've got the 6K needed in commissions. The rest of the month I don't keep track of like, oh, am I a 20K per month closer? Am I 30K per month closer? I'm on the leaderboard. Like I've never actually looked at that. I look at, okay, how do I be 1% better today at like being good at conversations and like leading someone past fear, or actually serving someone and not letting them like, you know, chicken out on themselves. And then you just look down and you're like, oh, look, I look down, there's 20K. What do you know? There's 10K, 12K. But like, you shouldn't look at that. You know, the goal is like, how can I today wake up and be better? And if I wasn't better today, then it doesn't matter what money I made. I need to be better at that. People will be more, we'll have a lot more 6-figure earners in this industry if people start doing that.
So, hey,
Yeah.
I have a question for you, man. And this is something I feel very passionate about. What are your thoughts? And this is a topic that Dave and I have talked about. What are your thoughts on those offers that make you take like 8 calls a day?
Like it's a
make me?
must.
Who's gonna make me? Oh my gosh. Okay, like if you're gonna make me do something, then pay me as an employee, and then I would like 6 weeks of vacation time and like health and benefits covered, and then tell me whatever the heck you got me to do, and I'll do it. Like I'll be a good soldier. But like I'm a business, right? So if your goal is for me to take 8 calls a day, I think that's a limiting belief the business owner has. I think we should be talking about goals, man. Why aren't we discussing, well, what revenue jumps would we like to make next quarter? Whether I take 2 calls a day or 8. And how can I serve you in that way and bring my skill set to the table to get that revenue? Because like, what if you make me take 8 calls a day? All right, now I'm going to be an employee. Pay me like an employee. Right? But if you're going to treat me like a partner in this business, a 10% partner, like revenue share basically is what we are, then let me come in as a partner and do my best. And if I'm not performing, sure. No, that's a thing too now. I hear a lot of closers saying, well, you can't make me do this. I'm like, yeah, but you're closing at like 6%. So maybe they should probably tell you what to do until you hit a certain number, right? But you know, as we work on our skill sets and work on our, you already know what I'm referring to, right? So funny. But like,
I remember those
certain point, it's
conversations.
like, it shouldn't make you do something. You should want to bring them revenue. And we should have that
And
understanding.
building on that, where do you think the optimal level is? And I know this varies by person, but if you had to bunch the majority in, where do you think quality drops off there? Right? Because what we do is mentally straining. It is taxing. And depending on your offer, some offers it's a 30-minute call, some offers it's an hour call. Depends on what you sell. Mine now is more 45 minutes to an hour because it's software driven. So I have to give a demo of the 4 softwares to show how to do the business, right?
Right.
But where do you think that quality tapers off, right? Like after so many calls in a day, 5 days a week, where do you think like Friday, the closer's like not as good as it is Tuesday?
Right. That's actually a really tough question. I wish I could give you an answer because that does matter on industry. Because like, for example, I've sold B2B and I'm like, these are 15-minute close. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a 30-minute call and within 15 minutes, they're like, is it in your budget? Does it fit your needs? Does it look like the number's going to line up? Let's freaking do it. And in the last 15 minutes, we're just talking, right? And then B2C, it's like, man, I'm life coaching these people. Like, hey, you can do this, right? So I don't really, it really comes down to the closer, man. And the setter even. It comes down to like, hey, what niche do you really love to serve? Because if you're in a position that's not like you're actually really built for yet, or you haven't really trained your mind for, man, you could burn out in 4 calls a day. You know, but if you're a 1% person, all right, you could take 10 calls a day, because for me, I wake up and I'm like, this is just what I do. I go to the store, I feel like I'm closing someone on being a better person. I talk to someone at church or the gym, or, you know, we get in a fight in the parking lot. Same thing. We're just talking, right? So it really just depends where you're at and what offer you're selling. Some offers, man, it drains you. Some offers are draining.
So I've done BizOp my entire career, and I have found 6 to be the sweet spot. Once I get to 7 or 8 is where I'm not at 100%. And I'm not showing up like, oh, I don't want to be here, but I'm not as, the word's not excited. I'm not as efficient, however you want to put it. I'm not at 100% once I get to that 7. Right. And that's in a row.
Plays a part, right?
That's if 6 show up, right? If it's like sick back to back to back to back to back, like on the offer we were working on for 4 or 5 months, we had a really good show rate and we had a shit ton of appointments. So it was like, boom, 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 boom. Once I got to that 7th and 8th, I was like, oh, man.
Oh man. Remember I was taking like 3 and I was like, I'm done. I'm done at 3. I just got to close 2. Got to close 2 out of 3 if I'm only taking 3. So, you know, yeah, totally, man. That's crazy. I felt like 6 is, that's something I teach though as well. Is like, all right, every person's different. Let's find your actual sweet spot of working hours in the day. Like some people like, hey, you can work from 7 to 11. So just take 4 straight calls. And some people work well from like, if they don't start till 11 a.m., but they go until 8 p.m. Or like you, like I know, like if I'm going to do business with you, I'm not going to put the front load the heavy stuff. I'm going to front load the heavy stuff so that by 6 p.m. I'm not like draining you. Because no, you're all in kind of guy. So I'm like, if someone's an all in kind of person, let's do stuff at the beginning and not drain them at the end. So it really depends on.
Exactly, man. And each person is different. I know people that take 12 calls a day and they're making like 40K a month because they're just slanging deals. And I'm like, bro, do you sleep? Another thing for me is not even the calls. I got into this world personally for time freedom. Right?
Yes.
Like I never understood let me leave my 8-hour job to grind 12 hours a day. It's like,
what are we doing? Is this just another 9 to 5? Yeah. That's the thing too. It's, hey, remote high ticket sales can be your path to freedom. Yeah, if you make it so, but then it also can become another 9 to 5 if you let yourself be treated that way.
With no base or benefits.
Consumer, you're gonna get consumer results, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
David's like, can I talk, please?
Sorry, man. I'm sorry, bro. We were on an offer, so we can talk about this like all day long.
No, I was listening. I mean, that was. I mean, I could sit here and listen for like another 10 minutes. I mean, it was just a flow. Bro, I had I'm taking a lot of mental notes. My mind is just spinning and spinning.
Yeah.
But that was a huge clusterfuck. If we were to slim it down a little bit, let's take because I know there's a lot of new sales people watching, right? Like if someone new comes along, you know, we just want to start in sales, maybe transitions from 9 to 5. You know, because you and I think quite like together with Chance, you know, we always start with mindset. Like we want to develop someone to become like that high achiever, high performer before they even touch base onto something else, right? Like what kind of, I guess, like, because you said leadership before, like how would you, what's your advice to someone new coming in on, you know, developing, let's say, their mindset and leadership so that they can eventually, you know, help other people do the same?
Right. Okay. So there's a couple parts to answer this because you want to keep it simple for new people, right? Coming into this industry. So if you're coming into this, number one, you have to understand that, first of all, there's no such thing as get rich quick unless you're like investing in a stock that takes off or in, you know, day trading or something, right? So getting rich quick in this industry is not a thing. It's getting rich simply, right? You can earn money simply here and very quickly. But to get to that quick level, you've got to understand that leaving a lifestyle that we've lived for more than 5 years, for most of us 10, 20, 30 years, right? In a lifestyle that's 9 to 5, we have to take that jump mentally. We cannot bring 9 to 5 habits and mentalities and the things that have kept us broke. We can't bring that into this industry and expect to make 10K. That's why we focus on mindset first. Because if you nail that, going from, you know, 3K to 10K is actually really, really, really easy. You can become a 6-figure earner and live really, really clean the rest of your life. If you put the work in early to fix that mindset of, okay, what has held me back and kept me in this 9 to 5 lifestyle? What limiting beliefs do I have that are stopping me from opportunities now? Because to be a leader on these calls, that's what makes the money. So I'm going to put in the work to be a leader. And once I'm a leader, these calls are actually really easy. I never prepare for sales calls anymore. I don't have a script anymore. I don't even really listen to what the offer is anymore. I just listen to people and lead them. Like we could go, like when you get to this level, I'm sure you guys too, we could sell anything at this point to anyone at any price point and just hop in after one day of listening to someone else's sales calls and say, okay, I can lead these people to make $100,000 investment, right? Because we became leaders, but that took work early. So that's why I say to beginners, become leaders, like listen to people, learn how to be a good listener, learn how to actually lead a conversation and solve problems with someone. If you think of this as I'm going to sell you this thing, this is going to be a really tough industry for you because people can just hang up the phone, right? They can just leave and say, I'm going to go talk to my wife, or I'm going to talk to my husband, and they'll never come back to you, right? So if you think about selling something in this industry, you're not going to make money. But if you come into this and say, how do I become a leader? How do I lose my limiting beliefs? And then how do I help other people gain those, right? And overcome those too. Going from 3 to 10K a month is like this. Like within 1 month, you should be making 10, 20K. So hopefully that makes sense.
No, that definitely does. And, you know, so something that I think I got from Eli Wild, he, when he talks on, you know, vision, influence, and leadership, he says that leaders go first. And, you know, that's the same with, you know, leaders go first in developing themselves. Leaders go first when they're embodying like their dream life. Like if you were to live your dream life, do you wake up exhausted or do you wake up excited? Right? I mean, that's like the leaders go first mentality of developing yourself, moving forward from there. So I think that really aligns with what you just said from someone, Eli White. I don't know how big of a presence he has, but I think he's quite popular now.
Yeah, he was one of the ones that got me into sales, right?
Really?
Yeah. Through the sales mentor, actually. We can talk about all the people I've been through. I went through every guru out there, right? But I heard about Eli Wild and he got me into sales and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, very interesting. But you're right. That absolutely did stick with me too. It's like, all right, just shifting the mindset of, let me see if this will work for me to get out of my situation versus I'm going to be someone that makes this work for me to get out of my situation. Doing that alone will get you there. So absolutely, man. That's a great point.
There's something else that appeared in my mind, because when you sort of talking about leadership and that type of mindset you need to have coming in, right? Like that shift, you said there's no like get rich quick scheme, which is quite important in my opinion when it comes to new people or even experienced people, being able to differentiate like false indicators, people that are just maybe intentionally or unintentionally lying to you about or leading you some shape or form into like a rabbit hole where you're really not making that money. In your years being here in high ticket and doing sales remotely, do you recognize any red flags that when you see a Facebook post or a job post online, all right, this is something that's there's something sketchy going on?
Right. Well, a couple answers to that. If there's someone that's looking to train you on sales and they're telling you you're going to get rich quick, then if that's part of their pitch, which nobody really does anymore, but they say it differently, then yeah, stay away. Right now, once you have certain intellects, you can absolutely get rich quick. And there always will be people that do, but expecting that to be standard is just pretty foolish, in my opinion. Everything takes a little bit of work, a little bit of hustle, and a lot of growth. Right. So, but red flags would be like, hey, this is like, you just need sales training. If you just get this sales training, you will absolutely become a $10,000 a month remote high ticket closer. Now, there's a lot more that goes into it. You have to find a job as well, and you have to be a good person in this space. You have to network, you have to have personal development, and you have to learn how to be, more than just a sales training, right? Or someone that says like, hey, with this one secret, you too will be exactly like me. Probably not. Right? Because if that was the case, then it takes a lot of work, but it's also very simple, not easy. It's simple. So those are some red flags. Those are pretty obvious to us, but a lot of people are new. So look out for those. And then jobs as well, like making sure that if someone says, hey, you'll easily make 10,000 a month here, do some due diligence as well. Right? There's some questions you want to ask and make sure that you know exactly what you're getting into. So we could dive into that all day, but those are off the top of my head, the red flags.
Literally when it comes to like applying for opportunities, sales jobs, a simple thing to get rid of like most of the red flags is just doing the math, right? Like once you know the math of, the pool of commissions annually and comparing that to what they're advertising on the post, maybe on target earning, which is complete bullshit in my opinion.
They just say whatever on those. Don't even listen to that.
They're trying to sell you.
How many sales reps? What's your leads like? How much you're spending on marketing? The usual questions that we teach people, right? I forgot the biggest red flag. Which is kind of why like I have this whole anti-guru stance, which it doesn't really mean. The only thing it really means is like I'd rather teach someone to fish than you rely on me for life. If someone is like, I guarantee I'll place you, or I guarantee I'll take you to 10K a month, or I promise you I'll do this. Right? As long as you rely on me, right? It's okay to guarantee stuff, but if you have to rely on somebody to get you results, you're just as much stuck as when you're in the 9 to 5. Because what if they get hit by a bus tomorrow? Or what if the training isn't, God forbid, as good as they say it is, right? Versus, hey, you can do this on your own, but imagine what you could do with me. That's someone to look out for. That's someone who probably has your back, right? Because then it's like, okay, you'll help me get there faster, but it's still my responsibility to get there. Now this actually is more realistic and they'll actually get you there faster. Hopefully that even makes sense, right? Because I know they haven't seen every ad out there, but I've seen almost all of them. So I'm like, it's not sure about that one.
It's very casual marketing, right? I mean, if someone, let's say, if someone in anyone really being online, like you're seeing probably like 70 ads per day, and that keeps coming back up, right? When you keep relying to someone, you might have, I don't know if cooking food is a good example, but like maybe not. I'm not going to take that.
Mhm.
But if you just keep going back to somebody else for information and what you need to do next,
Mhm.
like imagine if you know, like you say, get hit get hit by a bus. I hope that's not going to happen. But let's say you do, and you can't go back, right?
Yep.
You can't get into that job to get that help.
Yep.
You're really just out there in the open, not knowing what to do. You know, holding your own stick and doing
Right.
fuck
Right.
all.
They're not mentoring you. They're
Yeah.
you're a consumer, and you're consuming. They're selling you, right? Which is okay, right? So they can have guarantees, but someone, a real mentor, I think, is actually someone who empowers you to go and think for yourself, right? And go and
Yeah.
actually learn the right ways to do things. So that's a big difference in this industry, I think.
That's something Chance preaches. Like I've seen
Yeah.
3 of those posts of, dude, stop paying your mentor and see if he cares.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And see what happens. Yep.
Bro,
what
it's
happens.
because I have a real mentor. The mentor that I have that David and I share, I haven't paid him since December,
He's gonna look at this and get fired up.
since March of 2022. So
Yeah.
I got a 4-month subscription plan, and he's still my
Mm.
mentor. So it's been almost a year since I've even sent him a penny, and he's still when I message him, he answers me in an hour. When I ask
Nice.
for help on an objection or something that I ran into that I haven't ran into yet, that happens. We still get these situations that we haven't ran into. At least I do. I've been in the industry for a little over a year. There's that rare scenario where I'm like, that's why you have a mentor. You're like, dude, you've done this like for 4 times as long as I have.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into this situation. I handled it like this. Is this how you would handle it? JD's normally like, yeah, it's okay, but do it like this next time. Right?
Yeah.
But I do it like that next time. And that's yeah, I say it all the time. So I get people that are like, oh, I spent 10,000 on this, and I didn't get the results I wanted. And when I brought it up, they kicked me from the community. And it's like,
Oh, geez.
or they're like, oh yeah,
Jeez Louise.
I
Tell me
paid
that.
2,000 here and I've been on a monthly subscription for a year, but I'm not getting that much value out of it anymore. And I'm like, why are you paying?
Then stop. Yes. Yes. Don't. Right. Yeah. You see what the value is.
But then I'll lose this person as a mentor. Okay.
Well, will you? If you lose them as a mentor because you're not getting value from them and you stop paying them, they weren't mentoring. Well, that's exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And
Exactly.
it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm. And ironically, a real mentor, I have no issue paying. Like that's a huge return on investment. So I'm like, I will pay a real mentor who actually is doing something good for people, right? Yeah, absolutely. I'll pay them out of my pocket, right? So finding those is crucial in this industry.
Yep,
Oh yeah,
yep.
absolutely, dude. There's one thing I want to go back to, and goes back to the mindset we're talking about, right? So some people have it, some people don't. It can be taught, right? And it was taught in me. But I remember as the manager of the sales team, I had no fucking bug. Sorry. I had no closing experience. And you hired me on the first interview before I even did a role play. And later told me it was because of the mindset. They're like, dude,
Yes.
I can teach you the skills, right? As soon as I saw the mindset, I wanted you on the team. I was like, okay, you might have a bad couple of weeks to start. I'm gonna give you the skills, and then we're gonna get you to go, right? And
Yes.
that's what. And I'm gonna be honest, that's what started my thinking process of like, that's probably what's holding a lot of closers back, is that mindset.
Yep. Dude, 1000%. 1000. I think I interviewed like 16 people before you too. And they all could say the script, right? Some of them have been like, hey, I've literally closed over 2.3 million last year alone. I'm like, I don't know if I want you. I don't know, right? Because the headache, the return on investment, like one A player, someone who's willing to work and learn and actually make themselves get there, who has strong identity, is worth probably 5 or 6 hires, 5 or 6 other sales reps, as we see, right? Because the minute you and I left that one offer, we're doing $500,000 down to less than 100K. So it's like, that does make a difference, right? It really makes a difference. I think literally we were almost at what, 600,000 a month, and then the people with the right mindset leave, and the people without the right mindset, what was it, less than 50K per month?
Yeah, like
right, less than 10%.
Because I was there a month after you, because and that last month we did like 67, I believe, and I did like
hurts, man.
did like 50 of that, 50,
Oh,
50 like 50 something of that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was
that's
because
hurts,
it just
man.
That's painful.
Well, that's something we should talk about as well, because that also has a lot to do with culture and leadership and actual managing and how to actually become a leader, which I failed at royally and learned a lot about how to do this. Right, like that actually matters too. One bad leadership, man, you can take a company from just about getting to $1 million a month down to like less than 100K
We were
a
on
month.
pace, bro. We were growing every month.
Yep.
Because I think we did like my first month there, we did like 400, and then it was like 500, and then it was like 540, and then like 600, and then like 650, and then it crashed.
Yeah. It's painful, man. Leadership matters.
But
yep, leadership does matter. And that is one thing too. Like when I know like an actual ape, like if you were to come to me, and this is something I want new sales reps to listen to as well, right? Like, okay, if you've put in the work and you are an A player, which what I mean by A player is not your numbers, it's how you show up, right? It's your work ethic, it's your mindset. And an A player comes to me and says, Josh, this is a toxic offer. I'm going to listen. Right. But you have to earn that too. Because a lot of new people say, oh, I'm going to leave this offer. I'm going to spend one more week here, then I'm out because the leadership's not listening to me. I'm like, bro, you're closing at less than 20%. You can do this. You can do this. Believe in yourself for more than 1 week. Right. Go get it. But if you've been putting in the work, like you and I were saying, like, hey, maybe it is the marketing. Like maybe things are bad. Maybe leadership isn't great. Maybe they shouldn't be yelling at us. That is also something to look out for because you don't have to stay there. Right. You're not an employee. You are an independent contractor, you are a business, and you can go and get other clients too. That's why you want to keep networking, always keep networking. So a lot of things to unpack there, but little statement there.
Nice. Damn. Yeah. I mean, those numbers are insane. 67K a month?
Oh, dude. That was pretty bad. They crashed.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it was bad. We went from 6 closers all being packed out multiple days in a row to a couple of calls a day between the like 4 guys that were left, and I was the only one closing at a respectable percentage. Closing at like I think I was closing at like 28% that last month, and it was like because
that's nothing compared to what you were doing.
I don't know what they did, and a bad closer blames leads, but Josh and I were proof that sometimes, I know this is crazy and sales trainers aren't going to say this, sometimes it is marketing. They have a job to do, and if they're not doing their job, it makes our job a shit ton harder. That last month, I was speaking to people that were literally, and I have these calls recorded. Like I
have them too.
There's fucking receipts here that were living in their car.
Bro. Oh man,
homeless. Yep. They were homeless, and they got through our marketing into a call with me, and it's like,
why am I getting 12 of these a week, right? And then why is the response? Well, you should. What can you do to take extreme ownership for this? I'm all for extreme ownership. Every time it's what can I do better? Unless they're freaking homeless.
You need to make them resource. Like he's homeless.
Yeah. If someone's homeless, I know it's gonna hurt them to take even a deposit. I'm not gonna take a deposit from someone. I'm gonna tell them to go get some food. Let's find a way to get you a job, right? So it's crazy. Crazy offers out there.
It was like Josh and I went from slinging piffs to like getting like 3 pays. It was good, but that's another conversation for a whole nother day. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up.
Right. I guess to tie it to the new viewers that are listening, to give them value, right? Pay attention to like what the leadership is teaching you, and pay attention to how they treat you, and how they treat you is how they're going to treat everything in the company. Right. And then also pay attention to how you show up, because we also made a bad offer, right? The minute you and I left, technically that was a really bad offer. We made it a good offer, right? We made it a cool place to work, right? So be someone that shows up, and you're a thermostat, not a thermometer, right? Be an A player that shows up and wants to earn money, wants to help people. But also, if leadership isn't treating you right and things are not happening, remember, you're not an employee. You can always go and get another client, which is why networking is more important than your sales training. Keep being a value giver in this space. I promise you, people will find you and want to hire you.
Absolutely. Right, so. And something Josh said earlier that I just want to build on that real quick. Before you make that decision, lick the wall. Look internally. Sometimes, and again, I know this is crazy to say here, so bear with me.
How dare you?
Sometimes it's actually you, right? Like I know it's just fucking crazy.
That was
but
a long delivery.
Don't just quit because you think things aren't going well. Like how many people do we have, Josh, when you and I were doing 10K plus a month, 100K cash collected between the two of us, that were like, oh, it's this reason, or it's that reason, or it's this reason. And it's like, there's 2 people on the team closing above 40%, crushing it.
You can do it.
You can
Yeah.
do it. It's not
You can
because
do
it's this or this. There's something we need to figure out. Right?
Yeah, there's always I mean, treat yourself the way you treat a prospect. There is always a reason to not do something. There's always a reason to give yourself an excuse to not perform. But let's be better than that. Right? If you really, really want to be good, let's find a way to. Like, what can I do? Am I showing up? How's my sleep schedule? How much water am I drinking? What am I doing to recover mentally? What am I working at my prime hours? Am I distracted while I'm on the phone with people?
I watch
Am I doing focused work? Yeah,
I'm
I'm
watching tape
tape.
effectively, right?
Am I
Don't just
asking
watch
call
you win.
reviews? Yeah,
Right? Exactly.
seriously.
Call reviews. I'm not a big fan of role playing. It's not really my thing, but am I new closers? Am I role
It's
playing?
good.
Right?
Am I doing everything possible to get better?
It's like
And
we
if
had some
100% better.
staff that only showed up to team meetings and only closed. They never came to extracurriculars. They never came to side trainings. They never sent calls for you to review other than mandatory ones. And then they were like, why am I not hitting this goal? And you and I would talk about it and we're like,
because I'm saying too, like, you put in the work early, you won't have to later. Did you and I ever talk about KPI or numbers or about chance you got to work more? Did we ever have that conversation? No, because if we put in the work early for the first 3 months, I promise you it's going to be a free lifestyle. Right? Like, it's fun. I was choosing to take 3 calls a day and still hitting my 12K a month. I was like, all right, cool. You can do it, guys. You just got to put in the work early.
Yeah,
just like any sport.
You showed me, and this speaks volumes to you, man. You showed me how to sell, but more importantly, how to sell the offer that we were on, right? I think a good leader needs to show you how to sell effectively, but also how to effectively sell the offer. Because yes, you can take the skills and translate them to different offers, but you're going to sell a B2C biz op different than you're going to sell a marketing to a B2B.
Yes,
skills can
totally.
translate. You need somebody to show you how to sell that specific offer. And that's what you spent 2 weeks. My first 2 weeks, I closed at like 7%. I think I made like 1,500 commission, and then I made 10K my first month.
Yep. I don't even care about this first month. So I'm like, good, get this going.
I was taking 8 calls a day. I was like, are you sure you want to take that many? You're like, yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's another thing to look out for. Does your leader at your company build an actual path to success? Not just tell you, you could earn 10K a month here. No. Here's who's doing it. Here's how you can do it. And since you're new, here's how I plan on helping you get there. But you have to show up. That's a good offer to take, I would say. Right. That's something to look out for if you're new in this industry. Look for that, because you'll make money there. And you'll have fun.
Yeah, that's so good. I mean, so sometimes you don't even need to pay for a mentor. I mean, my first opportunity, my sales team lead trained me for 9 months straight without ever giving him a dime, because I was setting for him. I made him a ton of money. Right.
That's the best training you can get, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, he was training me to set better. He was training me to close better. He was training me to close more high tickets. He was training me to pretty much handle the entire process. And there was one time that I tell people all the time on this podcast, and that is, there was a month that they just decided to shut down the ads. There were other closers on the offer. That month were my biggest month among the closers and the closers that worked there previously, because I set my own calls. It was like a natural stream, because I knew how. I set my own calls and I just closed everyone. So that was like the hitting points of me. Oh shit, find my next mentor. I mean, this guy left, so the offer kind of like tanked a bit. But that same pattern followed through like March and April, and it just continued until I left, and then it so
that's so important, man. I think it's often overlooked, like, no, I'm a closer. I'm like, no, you are an entrepreneur, first of all, right? So figure out a way to get there, and setting is a great way to learn this industry, especially if you're a first timer, because you learn sales, you learn an offer, you get paid to get mentored, like you said. And then, like you were saying, like, a closer who can set their own appointments and knows how to generate leads will never, ever lack for money, ever, right? You can always set appointments. So setting appointments, and we were earning, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I know, Chance, I think you were as well. Like, I was earning like 7,000 to 11,000 a month off of as a setter. And I was like, I didn't want to be a closer. Like, this is 3 hours a day, man.
Bro, I swear, I would work from 8 a.m. to noon, and then I would take the whole rest of the day.
I missed it. They had to convince me to move up to closer, and literally, he was like, "I want you to be a closer." I was like, "Lead closer." I'll consider it. It's like, okay, fine.
I was just ready, bro. I was ready, as we talked about. I felt like I had accomplished what I set out to in setting, and I wanted that next challenge, which was closing, right? And now my next challenge is coaching and managing, and that's why the offer I'm on right now, they're scaling ads. And as soon as we get to a point where I'm too booked out, they want me to bring another closer on and then another closer, because they've taken 5 offers to $1 million per month and they want to take this one $1 million per month. They want me to be the salesman. Right. And that's my next challenge. So right now they're investing in me so I can bring them money. Right.
I hear you. Man, when you get to that level, coaching is seeing other sales reps win and like being an integral part of their like personal development. Dude, that's like, you couldn't pay me to not to do that.
Bro. I love what we do in terms of closing, and I love changing lives. I love getting somebody to shift away from how they've thought for 35, 40 years to take action on who they want to become.
Yeah.
But I love being the piece and making the transformation even more.
Yeah.
Right. Because when we close, we're trusting that fulfillment is going to give them what they need. When we coach, we're giving them what we are giving them the principles and the mindsets and being a key piece in the transformation. Right. And that's
seriously. It's fun, man. We're creating leaders that create leaders. That's the next phase for, I think, all three of us. Right. That's why I love this, man. That's why I'm even coaching now. Why you guys are coaching now. It's like, yeah, sure. There's a million ways all of us could make money. Right. And we could charge through the roof like all guru competitors. Like I could go and charge 20,000 for coaching like everybody else. Right. But no, the fun part about it is like seeing people develop. We do it because we love it. Not everyone's made to be a coach. Right. A lot of people can be marketers. Few people can be mentors and coaches. And that's the fun part when you find good coaches. It's unbeatable, man. You get like excited thinking about it. You don't get burnt out doing it either. Well, yeah, you can, but.
Well, yeah, it depends on the person. I mean, obviously, yeah.
Set boundaries.
Yeah, of course.
Clear boundaries.
Of course. 100%. You're going to have that person that's like question, right? So it's like, all right, relax. But no, man, it's huge, man. I'm excited for the step for all of us. It's crazy where we've gone to, Josh. It's crazy. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's time to do it right. Let's do it the right way.
Absolutely. Well, hey, real quick, before we wrap this up, David, because I know we're reaching our normal little 45-minute here. I feel like we bombarded you with questions. You got any questions for us, Josh?
Yeah, well, I guess kind of what's the vision for you guys as far as moving forward over the next year? Because having been all of us been sales reps, right? And all of us having seen everything in the industry and seen the good and the dirty underside, like, all right, they're just a marketing scheme that, so like, what is it that you guys, what's your vision for the next year? And then how can we, 3 leaders who've been leaders in this industry, we've all been 6-figure earners, how can we actually affect change in an industry that's full of a lot of stuff? So that's my 2 questions for you guys. So that's what I'm always brainstorming every day, right? How can I actually affect change? How can I actually coach people better and not lure them away from the marketers, but how can I be a light in the space instead? Instead of focusing on negative, how can we be like a lighthouse, right? So
I'm going to keep my answer in a small box. I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible. I can write a 10-page essay on this. There's three big things that I want to do for people. New sales reps and blossoming sales reps. I want to give them the right mindset to achieve. That's first and foremost, right?
Yes.
Then I want to teach them how to fish, right? And that's David and I we have a partnership here, right? I want to give people the ability to go and vet and find good offers so they're never hungry. And then last but not least, one of the biggest questions that I get and one of the biggest complaints that I get in this industry is new reps and low performing reps. They're like, and I've given it out for free a couple of times, is I need a proper frame to follow before I learn high level stuff. Because a lot of sales trainers will throw this situational selling at you. They'll throw tonality. They'll throw all these high level things at new reps. They have no idea what the fuck to do.
Yeah, it's good for us. I'm like, hey, that's huge value.
Exactly. I did a training inside of UCM on objection handling. I gave a bunch of my frames. I got flooded with messages of, I wish we had more of this because I need a frame to follow before I can understand how to use it effectively from mental.
Right. Totally, man.
And those are the biggest things that I want to do is I want to teach people how to use those frames and then make them their own moving forward. Right. Like analogies and hooks and reframes and objection handling, all those things. So I try to
hit it spot on. It was almost like a business partner's stress test, right? Making sure Chance is on the hook. But yeah, I mean that's why we are partners, man. I mean, you nailed it on. I mean,
You good, bro?
Right, man.
Nailed it so much that I almost died. All right, man. But yeah, my biggest one is really just like the mindset, like the development of a high achiever, right? And you know, the other parts, and you know, all those three are really our biggest ones in terms of our visions. And then, you know, all the numbers comes with how many people want to help, how many people want to, you know, get on and you know, mentor, right? But those three are the main parts. I would love to share what with the audience what you're doing, because you're building something of your own as well, you know, mentoring, coaching. I know on your Facebook profile you have anti-guru, and that maybe goes into it. So just give us like a, you know, 2-minute spiel on it, on that side.
Yeah, totally. Well, so first of all, this wasn't my intention. I was building this because I saw a lot of people just getting kind of stuck, right? And then they're spending all their money. And actually, I started this for friends and family, really. So I was like, hey, they want to learn what I'm doing. I went from like broke to earning like over $300,000 in a year. And they're like, Josh, are you selling drugs? Are you scamming people? What are you doing? I was like, I'm in the CIA. That's what I'm doing. No one believed me. So I was like, okay, I'll teach you what I'm doing.
I'm a
I
drug
sent them to
lord.
sales trainers. Yeah, I was like, hey, you don't want to know. You hear me? I fixed the World Series. That's what I did. No, so yeah, but then I sent them to people, and they were like, coming back to me saying, Josh, that was like $12,000 for training. Why would you send me there? And I was like, all right, I can teach you for way cheaper than that, but I'm going to give you more value. Because I was like, what did they train you on though? Well, they gave me a tonality and they gave me a script, and they told me to buy more training and learn more sales training. I was like, okay, let me teach you this stuff. So basically what I've done is, why I'm the anti-guru, the principle behind that is I want to teach people how to fish for themselves and not be someone where you need me to succeed. I'm not going to pitch that to you. Without me, you're not going to make it in this industry. That's totally not true. You totally can. My goal is to speed it up for you and give you stuff that you couldn't get on your own, right? Give you the boost that I wish I had. Give you the mentor like you guys are that I wish I had when I started out. I wish I had you guys mentoring me when I was a beginner. I would have saved myself a year, right? Like, I wish I had a sales manager. I had to figure that out. So let me be that for someone so they don't have to figure it out. And the same thing you guys are teaching. The first thing I teach is, hey, let's become the best version of you. If that's all you get from me, my goodness, your life is going to skyrocket. And that's what I specialize in, right? It's almost like life coaching. And then networking and how to go fish for yourself and find good quality offers and not get gypped, not approach like a consumer. You're going to get taken advantage of, right? Approach like a business owner. And then, like you guys were saying, very similar, the frameworks to actually learn how to talk to somebody in a way that leads them to the right decision. I rarely ever teach them, like I teach people frameworks, not memorize my script, but also not here's situational. Right.
Bro,
in the middle. Kind of what you said.
Sorry, I keep going back real quick. You remember when people were like using the script word for word that you made, and you're like, guys,
how many times did I say? How many times did I say?
Read this word for word. Like, come on. But no, real quick, I want to backtrack. What you said there is huge, accelerating the process. Because at the end of the day, one of the biggest questions that I ask my prospects that I speak to is, do you want help? And then do you want our help? Right. And I'll tell them, because you can get everything that you want for free on the internet.
Yes, you absolutely can.
Anybody can start any business from the power of our fingertips on our phones, from our computer.
You watch this, you can.
There is more knowledge on the internet for free than you will ever pay for. Yes. But there's a catch. Human psychology. If it's free, this amount of people will actually do the work.
Yep.
That's why it requires the mental and physical jump of putting money in, putting skin in the game for somebody to actually take action, follow the principles. That's why New Year's resolutions never come through, because most of them are, I want to lose 20, like you said, I want to lose 20 pounds this week or this year, right? That's not committing to an actual process.
Or paying a personal trainer, right?
Exactly.
Put in the game, you'll show up. I promise you, you will.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing that I tell my prospects, because it's one of those, it's a stress test, right? Because I'll tell them, what we're charging $3,500, $10K for, you can get for free on the internet, right? Like outside of our softwares, because they're proprietary to us, but the training, you can get that. You can learn how to fucking set up an Amazon seller account anywhere, bro. Look up a YouTube video.
It'll take the next 2-3 years. You can figure this out on your own without spending a dime.
Exactly.
Do you want to? Right.
Exactly.
Well, the analogy I like to use is like, look, if you want to be a world champion boxer, I can give you free YouTube videos all day on how to throw a punch, but you're going to get beat up, like beat the fuck up every day. Or you can have a coach train you So you decide, do you want to be like in the Taibo class or do you want to be a world champion boxer? You told me you want to be a world champion boxer. Let's get in the gym. If that's not you, I'm not going to sell this to you. So you decide, what do you want? The money is not the prize here. I'm not here to win your money, right?
Almost the same analogy. I asked them, I talk about boxing, of course, bro. And I'm like, why do you think boxers hire professional coaches, usually boxing legends, to be in their corner?
Yep.
Right. Same thing that you just said. They want a shortcut because they don't need a boxing coach. They can watch recorded boxing of legends and learn how to do it there. But it's going to take 3 years before they start winning matches. Right. So you get to decide if you want to get results in 3 to 6 months or if you want to get results in 3 to 6 years. Right?
Exactly. And that's your choice. Based on what you told me, here's why you said you have to do it in 3 to 6 months. You decide what's going to cost you more, actually. Like you tell me.
Of course.
And I'll help make that decision. We should have a podcast where we just talk sales. That'd be fun.
Never external. It's got to be internal. But yeah, this has been a great episode, man. I can sense David's trying to wrap this up. So
I know I've been rambling. I tend to do that.
Me too. But hey, it's the name of the podcast, bro. It is.
It's the name of the pod. We have a good reason to ramble. That's why it's called Sage Ramble TV. But boom, this was a fire episode. We're gonna wrap this up. Don't forget to leave a subscribe button. Leave a like, comment, all that good stuff. And any last words?
Like any last words?
It's like 3%.
To die.
That's where the drug comes in, man.
The future, y'all. We're these 3 faces. We do want to be the next 3 faces in this industry, not because we want to take over, but because we want to help. And in doing so, we're going to take over. But yeah, we're going to be in the future.